In the contested waters of the South China Sea, something is moving. Not a fleet commanded by admirals, not a vessel guided by human instinct, but a warship with no one on board. No voices, no footsteps, no hesitation, only algorithms. In 2026, China has quietly crossed a threshold that militaries around the world have only theorized about. A fleet of autonomous warships, designed, built, and deployed with one purpose: to remove the human from the battlefield at sea. These vessels don't rely on sleep cycles or emotional judgment. They don't question commands. They don't hesitate under pressure. They calculate. Powered by advanced artificial intelligence systems developed through China's civil-military fusion strategy, these ships can navigate contested waters, identify threats, and execute maneuvers in real time, without waiting for human approval. And they're already operating in some of the most strategically sensitive regions on Earth. But here's the unsettling part. If China no longer needs sailors to project power across the ocean, what happens to the balance of naval dominance? And more importantly, what happens when machines begin to decide how wars are fought? China didn't arrive at this moment overnight. For years, it has been systematically transforming its navy, not just expanding it, but redefining what a navy actually is. Under national strategies like Made in China 2025 and aggressive military modernization programs, Beijing invested heavily in artificial intelligence, robotics, and autonomous systems. The goal wasn't just to build more ships, it was to build smarter ones. Inside advanced shipyards and research facilities, Chinese engineers began designing vessels that could operate independently of human crews. Not remotely controlled, but fully autonomous. These systems integrate satellite navigation, quantum communication research, AI-driven targeting, and real-time data fusion from multiple sources: air, sea, and space. And the result? Warships that can think, not in the human sense, but in a way that allows them to process vast amounts of battlefield data faster than any command center ever could. Even more significant is how these ships connect. China isn't building isolated machines. It's building a networked fleet, where every vessel shares intelligence instantly, forming a distributed, adaptive system. A navy that behaves less like individual ships, and more like a single, coordinated organism. But if every unit is connected, what happens if that network becomes too powerful to control? Step inside one of China's autonomous warships, and you immediately notice what's missing. There are no sailors, no command bridge filled with officers, no human presence at all. Every square meter of the vessel is optimized for performance, hardware, sensors, and computational power. At its core is an AI system trained on massive datasets, from simulated war games to real-world naval encounters. It constantly analyzes patterns, predicts outcomes, and adapts its behavior accordingly. Its sensors form a 360-degree awareness field. Radar tracks aerial threats. Sonar scans the depths for submarines. Optical systems identify surface vessels, even in low visibility. All of this data converges into a centralized decision-making engine. In milliseconds, the system can determine whether an object is a threat, a decoy, or irrelevant. And then it acts. Target acquisition, course correction, engagement, all without waiting for a human command. But here's where it becomes even more complex. When multiple ships share this intelligence in real time, they don't just coordinate, they synchronize, functioning as a unified combat system. And if a machine makes a lethal decision at sea, who takes responsibility for the outcome? China's strategy doesn't stop at individual autonomous warships. It scales through swarm warfare. Instead of relying solely on massive, expensive ships, China is developing fleets of smaller unmanned vessels, fast, agile, and expendable. Individually, they may seem insignificant, but together, they become overwhelming. These swarms can coordinate attacks from multiple angles, saturate enemy defenses, and adapt in real time based on battlefield conditions. If one unit is destroyed, the system recalibrates instantly. No panic, no breakdown, just continuous execution. This approach fundamentally changes naval combat, because now it's no longer about who has the biggest ship. It's about who controls the smartest swarm. And China is rapidly advancing in both scale and coordination. But here's the real concern for global powers. If swarm warfare becomes the standard, can traditional navies, built around human crews and centralized command, keep up? This isn't just about technology, it's about power. China's autonomous fleet is deeply tied to its global ambitions, securing trade routes, protecting overseas investments, and asserting control over critical maritime zones. Through initiatives like the Belt and Road, China has expanded its presence across key ports and shipping lanes. Now, with autonomous warships, it gains the ability to monitor and influence those routes with unprecedented efficiency. More ships, lower cost, continuous operation, no fatigue, no rotation cycles. This shifts the balance of naval power. Because traditional limitations, crew size, training time, human endurance, no longer apply. And as China scales this technology, other nations are forced to respond. The United States, Russia, regional powers, all racing to develop their own autonomous systems. But in a race defined by speed and intelligence, falling behind isn't just a disadvantage, it's a vulnerability. So the question becomes, is this the beginning of a new naval arms race, or the start of a completely new kind of warfare? For all its advantages, China's autonomous fleet carries serious risks. Because when decision-making shifts from humans to machines, the margin for error changes. What happens if an AI system misidentifies a civilian vessel as a threat? What happens if a communication link fails or is deliberately disrupted? In high-speed scenarios, there may be no time for human intervention. And then there's cybersecurity. These warships rely on code, networks, and data, which means they can be targeted not just physically but digitally. A compromised system could lead to catastrophic outcomes. Imagine a fleet receiving false data, or worse, being redirected. Suddenly, the same technology that gives China a strategic advantage becomes a potential liability. And in an environment as volatile as the South China Sea, even a single mistake could escalate beyond control. So while autonomous warfare promises efficiency and dominance, it also introduces a new kind of uncertainty, one where the biggest threat might not be the enemy, but the system itself. The ocean has always been a stage for power. Empires rose and fell based on who controlled the sea. But in 2026, that control is no longer defined by human strength. It's defined by intelligence. China's autonomous warships represent more than a technological leap. They represent a shift in how wars may be fought and how power may be projected in the decades to come. No crews, no hesitation, no limits. Just machines executing decisions at a speed no human can match. And as this technology evolves, one thing becomes undeniable. The future of naval dominance won't belong to the biggest fleet, but to the most intelligent one. And China is positioning itself at the center of that future. Because the truth is, by the time most people realize what's changing, the balance of power may have already shifted. But you don't have to be late to understand it. If you want to stay ahead of the technologies shaping global power, warfare, and the future itself, subscribe now and turn on notifications because the next breakthrough won't wait.